Hey there, I'm Barb Bedwell. This is my TCP Showcase presentation for the project at South Tahoe High School. I am a chemistry and physics teacher and the science department head. So over the last year, we've been looking at how to change science education and make it more um, engaging for students. And so we dreamed up the idea of Tahoe as a classroom. Tahoe as a classroom was dreamed up by this amazing team of women. This is my leadership team, the four other members of the science department who are all women. In addition, there is several other teachers that were lesser members, and our principal, who has been an amazing supporter of this entire project for the entire year. Like I said, our inspiration is called Tahoe as a classroom. How do we bring place-based learning to science classrooms at South Tahoe High School? Place-based learning is very similar to project-based learning, with the added additional philosophical focus that students are actively engaged in their own communities. It's not just about a project that's somewhere out in the world. It's about trying to learn about where students live, their cultural, philosophical, economic communities, not just their environments, but place-based learning. It really enhances learning by making learning real world and making students connected to it. It's especially beneficial for underrepresented students who oftentimes have trouble seeing what the connection is between what they're learning in school is and the communities that they live. Our goals and strategies had to do a lot with getting student voices involved, and then really taking a look at what was uh, how do we get kids to get more active? This was actually a brainstorming board done by students about the types of projects or things that they wanted to learn. And then we took a look at how do we actually strategically approach this. It looked like we needed a lot of collaboration, as well a lot of alignment of the curriculum to make sure we were focusing on core content. But a lot of community-based connections was a big part of being able to make Tahoe as a classroom. We needed those outside voices and to bring those all together. As we did this, as we're approaching the idea of transformational change, we use a pretty evolutionary model of change, since we are science teachers, and evolutionary models based on that idea of natural or perhaps unnatural selection, where a stress is applied. There is a selective event where certain types of change don't survive and certain types of change do. They progress through, adapt, and sort of change through time. Sometimes they're bigger changes, sometimes they're more tragic changes. And obviously, we had quite a big change. We didn't really expect this particular change model to be quite as prophetic as it is, because, of course, coming around in spring, we had a major selective event. The pandemic of spring of 2020 shut our doors in March. We actually never reopened until the following March, a full calendar year that we were not in school. And so our TCP of place-based learning really had to change, since we no longer had access to places other than online places. So what we really did, our TCP pivoted to be looking at trying to maintain or try to provide quality, engaging science instruction with as much hands-on as possible for as diverse a group of students, in spite of the fact that our place now was virtual. So our 2.0 was Tahoe needs a classroom. So we really focused deeply on project-based learning, and then looking at teaching best practices, really trying to get as many of those engaging, sustained learning opportunities for kids as we possibly could. We were actually incredibly successful at achieving our outcomes. We realigned curriculum. We actually did a really great job of allowing our kids to do hands-on projects and activities at home, both virtually and with video and things like that they could do themselves. We also really pivoted towards online instruction quite well. We learned an entire new management strategy called Canvas, very similar to Blackboard, but none of us had learned that until the fall of this year. So we really focused on making sure that we're using best practices at all time. That was student focused, not teacher focused. Our next steps is making sure that we're focused on dreaming forward, realizing that the best laid plans always change, that change is about we, not me, that it has to be about a team effort, and making sure that you're always focusing on the human impact of that change. Humans are always greater than plans, whether they're the team itself or the students that we're working with. You never know what you're going to get. You're not going to get anything you don't ask for. So make sure to dream forward and don't be afraid to dream big, even when times are tough. And then recommendations, we're going to continue with our PBL, but now that we have a chance to actually open our places, we're really going to focus on leveraging high visibility projects to get our kids out in the community and really begin some of those place-based opportunities that really enhance cross-curricular connections, real-world learning opportunities, and getting our kids outside and involved in science. So thank you for joining me on my TCP journey. Tahoe as a classroom, Tahoe needs a classroom. Soon, Tahoe will be a classroom. Thanks for listening.